News to bring you, and it concerns Manchester United and Aston Villa. We're told at Sky Sports News that initial talks with Aston Villa and Manchester United have happened over Ollie Watkins potentially going to Manchester United and Aston Villa having an interest in the Manchester United forward Alejandro Garnacho. Now, we have been reporting throughout this transfer window that Manchester United do want to bring in a number 9. Now, this is regardless of whether Rasmus Højlund remains at the club or not. They have been exploring the conditions of deals of various strikers, including Villa's Ollie Watkins, including Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson and RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko, who now is, of course, of interest to Newcastle United should Alexander Isak leave St James's Park. As far as Villa are concerned, they don't want to sell Ollie Watkins in this transfer window and are understood to value him in the region of around £60 million. But there is a lot of interest in the England international. As for Garnacho, Aston Villa, we know, are keen on the player. United clearly want to sell Garnacho, but as it stands, Villa cannot meet the demands that Manchester United would put on a transfer fee with regard to Garnacho. We've always said as well that Garnacho's preference is to stay in the Premier League, but he does want to play in the Champions League. Villa, of course, won't be in the Champions League next season, and as yet, Chelsea, even though they are interested in Garnacho and they are in the Champions League, there hasn't been that formal approach to Manchester United as yet. Now, look, we do know that Manchester United are interested in Watkins and Villa interested in Garnacho, but they would be two separate deals rather than a swap deal, even though we do know that one going to Old Trafford and the other one going to Villa Park, they would be helped because the talks would be ongoing. But it should be said here that after Manchester United signed Brian Mbeumo from Brentford in a fee worth £71 million, their focus has been on player sales. We know Marcus Rashford has joined Barcelona on loan with an option to buy for around £26 million. But now United are working on other exits, Jadon Sancho, Antony, Sancho Malacia, as well as Alejandro Garnacho. So Aston Villa interested in Alejandro Garnacho. Manchester United interested in Ollie Watkins, one of a number of strikers that they are looking at, and initial talks have taken place between the clubs.
Rashford gone. What about the other outgoings that we're expecting at Manchester United?
Yeah, well, look, with Manchester United, we've known all summer that there were 5 players who were told to keep away from pre-season training, to search for a future away from Old Trafford. One now has gone in Marcus Rashford joining Barcelona. The other 4 on your screen behind you still remain. Let's start.
We know that Jadon Sancho was at Chelsea last season on loan. They didn't take up the obligation to buy, so Manchester United received a £5 million penalty fee from Chelsea because they didn't take up the obligation. United still want to release Jadon Sancho. They want to sell him on a permanent deal, if at all possible. Dialogue is open between Juventus and Manchester United over the potential signing of Jadon Sancho, as it is between Jadon Sancho's representatives and Juventus. Now, Juventus are working on sales before they can do a deal for Sancho, because their big priority in this window was to sign Francisco Conceição from Porto. They've effectively done that now, but to bring in someone like Sancho, one or both of Timothy Weah and Nicolas Gonzalez would have to be sold for them to be able to go into the market again to bring in someone like Jadon Sancho. If it doesn't happen, because there's still a big doubt whether he will end up at Juventus, there are a number of other clubs in Europe who are interested in Jadon Sancho. But Manchester United want to get this deal done sooner rather than later.
He's not the only one. Antony's another one that United would rather sell. They want to sell him. Remember, he went on loan to Real Betis last season. Performed really well. Performed well in that Conference League final defeat, albeit to Chelsea too. Actually had a promising spell, showed signs of what sort of player he was. But this is a tricky one for Manchester United. It's a player they paid £82 million for. He's still got 2 years left of his contract. They know the future's not at Old Trafford for him. Real Betis are keen to bring him back, but they are struggling to meet United's demands for a permanent transfer. They would prefer to bring him on loan for another season. United want the permanent transfer. Atletico Madrid are a club that are monitoring the situation, but they have other priorities at the moment, so they might just keep an eye and see where that goes to. Just one other player as well, Sancho Malacia. Now, look, he's a left-footed player. Now, that sounds so basic in terms of giving a description of a player, but there is a huge demand for left-sided players in this transfer window. So I have no doubts that Manchester United will have offers for his services in this window.
Manchester United are actively pursuing a striker revamp this summer, with key targets including Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa and goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez, though recent attempts to get Martinez on loan reportedly failed. United have held initial talks with Villa over Watkins, but the club insists he is not for sale, valuing him around £60 million. Watkins remains a priority as United seek a proven goalscorer following underwhelming returns from their previous forwards. Meanwhile, RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko is also an important target for Manchester United, with the club showing serious interest. Another striker linked to United in recent talks is Alexander Isak, although he is currently committed to Newcastle and appears less likely as an immediate option.